How many times have you felt a civil war inside yourself? Your heart, in a silent and undeniable pulse, screams a truth. It tells you, I don't want to go. I need rest. I love this person. This is not for me. It is a wisdom born in the body, a certainty that needs no proof. But then, your mind, the queen of logic and reason, steps up to the pulpit of your skull and begins its speech. It rationalizes, it argues, it projects scenarios, it remembers expectations, it calculates the risks, until the warm and visceral voice of your heart is reduced to a faint whisper, silenced under the weight of impeccable logic, or the opposite. Your mind builds the perfect plan. A workout routine, a business strategy, the right way to have a difficult conversation. It is a brilliant, logical plan that makes perfect sense on paper, but your emotional body, your heart, refuses to cooperate. It feels heavy, unmotivated, resistant. It's like trying to start a car with an empty fuel tank. And then comes the frustration, the self-criticism. Why can't I do what I know I need to do? This war, this exhausting and endless civil war between what you feel and what you think, is the human condition in its most painful form. It is the inner divorce that consumes our energy, leaves us in a state of paralysis, and forces us to live a life of incongruence, where our actions are rarely aligned with the totality of our being. But what if I told you that the cosmos, in its cyclical wisdom, offers us portals, windows of opportunity to heal this division, to call a truce, and to officiate a peace treaty? Prepare yourself, for one of these portals opens tomorrow. Tomorrow, July 20th, and for the following 48 hours, the moon, the archetype of our emotional heart, the queen of our inner world, enters the realm of Gemini, the master of the mind and communication, not for a battle, but for a sacred marriage. For the next 2.5 days, the cosmos offers us the rare opportunity to celebrate the alchemical marriage of our mind and our heart. My purpose here is not to give you tips on how to think better or feel less, but rather to offer you a ritualistic path so that you yourself can be the priest or priestess of this sacred union within you. We will transform the war room of your psyche into a wedding hall. We will learn to make your mind stop silencing your heart, and your heart stop sabotaging your mind's plans, so that they can, finally, begin to dance together as a unified, powerful, and aligned force. To officiate this ceremony, we must first understand the depth of the separation. We need to validate the pain and chaos that this inner divorce has caused in your life. We need to look squarely at the symptoms of the war between thinking and feeling. To heal a divided nation, we must first understand the nature of its civil war. In the same way, to unify our being, we need to diagnose with precision and compassion how this inner divorce manifests in our lives. These are not character defects, they are not personality flaws, they are symptoms of a soul that yearns for integration, for wholeness. They are the scars of the war between what you think and what you feel. The first and most common symptom is paralysis by emotional analysis. This is the state where your mind, in its noble but often misguided attempt to understand a feeling, dissects it with such coldness that it loses all its life force and its wisdom. Your heart gives you a clear and instantaneous signal, a wave of sadness, a pulse of joy, a visceral and bodily no, but instead of honoring and acting from this feeling, your mind places it in a laboratory. Why am I feeling this? It asks. Is it logical? Is it rational? What is its origin? What does this mean for my future? And the feeling, which was a living, pulsating message from your deepest being, becomes a corpse on the autopsy table, analyzed to death. Think of an invitation you received to a social event. Your heart immediately feels a no, a heaviness, a desire for stillness. But your mind begins the interrogation. But it would be good for my career. So-and-so will be upset if I don't go. I should want to go. What's wrong with me? And you get stuck in this limbo, unable to decide, spending enormous energy until the opportunity passes or you accept out of obligation, committing the first betrayal against your original feeling. This paralysis leads directly to the second symptom, which is the visible consequence of this war: involuntary falsity. This is when the inner divorce manifests in the outer world. It is the act of feeling one thing, but saying or doing something completely different. Not because you are a deceitful or manipulative person, but because your mind has convinced you that your true feeling is inappropriate, illogical, childish, or simply inconvenient. It is the yes you say with a smile, while your entire body, in a silent contraction, screams no. It is the compliment you give to something you, deep down, detest, just to keep the social peace. It is the everything is fine that becomes your default response to the world, even when your heart is in pieces. Each of these acts creates a small fissure in your integrity. And over time, these fissures can shake the entire foundation of your self-esteem. You begin to no longer trust yourself because you know, on a deep level, that your words and your actions are no longer a reflection of your inner truth. As the mind takes total control and trust in feeling diminishes, the third symptom subtly sets in: bodily disconnection. You start to live from the neck up. The body becomes just a vehicle to carry the brain from one appointment to the next. You ignore the knots of tension in your shoulders, the pain in your stomach before a meeting, the short and anxious breath. You disconnect from the immense wisdom your body carries, treating its signals as inconveniences to be silenced, rather than messages from an oracle to be heard. And the final result of all this war, of all this repression and disconnection, is the fourth symptom: a profound exhaustion. Not just a mental tiredness, but a soul weariness. Maintaining an internal civil war 24 hours a day is the most draining work there is. It requires an immense amount of life force to suppress feelings, to maintain facades, to sustain the endless debate between the cold logic of your mind and the warm truth of your heart. Paralysis, falsity, disconnection, and exhaustion. If you recognize this battlefield, if you feel tired of this war, know that you are not alone. This is the condition of the modern mind, divorced from the heart. But it doesn't have to be this way. The portal that opens tomorrow is an invitation to a truce, to a peace treaty. And to understand how to officiate this treaty, we must first get to know deeply the two sides in conflict. We need to meet the cosmic bride and groom, the moon, who rules the heart, and the realm of Gemini, which rules the mind. To officiate a wedding, one must first know the bride and groom, to understand their natures, their worlds, their languages, and above all, the yearning each has for the other, even if they don't admit it. The inner divorce we feel in our daily lives is born from ignorance. One side does not understand the fundamental value of the other. Let us now illuminate these two great powers that inhabit you, so that their union can be, in fact, an alchemical, sacred, and transformative marriage. The first figure at our altar is the moon, whom we shall call the intuitive bride. She is the queen of our inner world. Her realm is not that of daylight, of logic and facts, but that of the night, of dreams, of mystery, and of the soul. She is the guardian of our past, of all the memories and emotions we have ever lived, stored not in files in our mind, but in the cells of our body, in our blood, in our bones. Her language is not the articulated word, but the raw sensation, She speaks through the shiver on the skin, the lump in the throat, the expansion in the chest, the sudden wave of sadness. She is intuition itself, the wisdom that needs no wise or logical proofs. She simply knows. She is our emotional body, our inner compass that always points to our deepest truth, even if our mind, with all its arguments, tries to convince us otherwise. Like the archetypal bride, she yearns for security, to be seen, heard, and honored in her vulnerability. She yearns for a partner who can take her chaotic world of feelings and give it a name, an expression, a form. When her wisdom is ignored, when her feelings are dismissed as drama, illogicality, or exaggeration, she does not disappear. She retreats into the shadows of our being, and from there, sabotages the mind's perfectly logical plans, creating anxiety, procrastination, self-sabotage, and psychosomatic illnesses. She refuses to bless a union in which she is not respected as an equal and sacred partner. On the other side of the altar, awaiting her, is the intellectual groom, the realm of Gemini. His world is that of daylight, of clarity, of logic, and of the word. Ruled by Mercury, the messenger of the gods, he is the master of thought, of information, and of communication. His power lies in his brilliant ability to name the unnameable, to classify chaos, to understand patterns, to build bridges of understanding through language. He is the part of us that learns, that studies, that debates, that creates the plans, that writes the emails, that articulates our desires in a conversation. Without him, our emotions would be an ocean without a map, a nameless chaos that would drown us. He is the architect who can build a temple to house the soul. But his great weakness, his shadow, is the disconnection from the body. In his incessant search for mental clarity and objectivity, he can become cold, distant, and deeply suspicious of everything that cannot be proven, measured, or explained. He can see the heart as an undisciplined, illogical, and chaotic partner, a force to be controlled, not honored. In his worst state, he becomes a tyrant of logic who tries to govern the inner realm with spreadsheets and arguments, completely ignoring the ancestral wisdom of the body and soul. The problem, as we see, was never the existence of the two, but the fact that, in most of us, they live in a state of divorce, speaking different languages and distrusting one another. The portal of the moon in Gemini is the wedding day. It is the moment when the cosmos forces us to place both on the same sacred altar. The moon, our heart, enters the realm of the mind, Gemini, and for the first time, the mind has the chance to truly listen to the language of the heart, and the heart has the chance to have its feelings translated into clear words by the mind. It is the union of intuition with expression, of feeling with thought, of bodily wisdom with intellectual clarity. This is the sacred purpose of this portal, to heal the split, to transform the internal civil war into a powerful alliance where your logic serves your intuition and your intuition informs and gives soul to your logic. It is the creation of a unified, whole being. With the bride and groom now duly introduced and the purpose of the ceremony revealed, the question becomes, how can we, as priests of our own being, officiate this union? What are the rituals we can practice to seal this sacred marriage and make it real in our lives? The answer lies in rituals that create a bridge between these two worlds, practices that invite the mind to descend into the heart, and that give the heart a voice the mind can understand. What follows are 3 sacred rituals for the ceremony of your alchemical marriage. Practice them during this 48-hour portal that begins tomorrow, July 20th, to seal this new and powerful inner alliance. The first ritual is about giving the heart the right to speak first, without the interruption or judgment of the mind. I call it the Mirror of the Soul ritual. Its function is to reflect your emotional truth in its purest form. Take your journal and, if possible, 2 different colored pens. Find a quiet place. Breathe deeply. Place a hand over your heart and silently ask for your emotional truth to reveal itself without fear. With the first pen, the pen of the heart, write a question at the top of the page about a feeling that is confusing you. For example, heart, why do I feel so resistant to this opportunity? And then, write the answer. The only rule is not to think. Do not judge the grammar, the logic, or what is emerging. Just feel and write. Let your hand flow. Allow the heart to pour out its raw truths, its fears, its desires, its memories. Even if it seems chaotic or childish, continue. This is your inner world revealing itself without the masks of reason. After you feel that the heart's flow has been exhausted, take a deep breath again. Now pick up the second pen, the pen of the mind. With the clarity of Gemini, read what your heart has written, not as a judge, but as a compassionate and curious translator. Your task now is to organize and understand. In a new section, write, "The mind understands that the heart feels," and then translate the heart's wisdom into the language of the mind. For example, the mind understands that the heart feels fear because it values security, and this opportunity represents the unknown. This act of translation gives your mind a new role. It ceases to be the critic of the heart and becomes its most powerful ally, the bridge between feeling and understanding. With internal clarity established, the second ritual takes this union to the outer world. It is the practice of the true word bridge, an exercise to communicate a feeling with the union of clarity and compassion. Think of a small feeling you need to communicate to someone you trust. During this Moon in Gemini portal, challenge yourself to use the following formula, which is the very bridge between the Moon and Gemini. Start with when you, zrenia, and describe an objective action without judgment, the language of the Gemini mind. For example, when you look at your phone while I'm talking, continue with I feel, zrenia, and name the pure emotion that arises in you, the language of the Moon's heart. For example, I feel unimportant, and conclude with because the story my mind tells is. Here you unite the two. You explain the thought that is generating the feeling. For example, because the story my mind tells is that what I have to say isn't interesting to you. This formula prevents accusation and drama. It allows you to express your emotion, Moon, vulnerably, while at the same time explaining it with clarity, Gemini, opening a space for real connection instead of conflict. The final ritual is a visualization to seal the marriage on an energetic and symbolic level. It is the meditation of the inner twins. Sit in silence for a few minutes. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Visualize yourself in a beautiful inner garden, a space that is your sanctuary. To your right, see a figure that represents your mind. Perhaps it is bright, electric, fast, full of ideas. To your left, see a figure that represents your heart. Perhaps it is warm, fluid, silent, full of feeling. Observe how they look at each other, perhaps with distrust, perhaps with distance. Now see them slowly walking toward one another. See the mind extending its hand, not to control, but to ask. See the heart extending its hand, not with fear, but with trust. See the two hands touch in the center of your being. And at the moment they touch, visualize a golden and white light shining from that connection, filling your entire body with a sensation of peace, of wholeness, of alignment. Remain with this image for a few moments. The mirror that reflects, the bridge that connects, and the meditation that unifies. These are the rites of passage of your alchemical marriage. By practicing them, you are not just resolving a temporary conflict, you are forging a new way of being, a state of integrity and alignment that becomes your new foundation. And it is from this foundation of inner peace that a new form of personal power emerges. And this is the power that is born from peace. The peace that comes from ending a war. For a long time, your heart and your mind may have lived as sovereigns of neighboring kingdoms in an endless conflict. The transformation that this alchemical marriage portal offers is the end of this civil war. It is the unification of your inner kingdom, the end of self-sabotage. The result is not that you will stop feeling or thinking, but that your thoughts and feelings will begin to dance together in harmony. Your logic will learn to serve your intuition, and your intuition will give soul and purpose to your logic. You become an integrated being, a whole person whose words, thoughts, feelings, and actions finally walk in the same direction. This is the foundation of true integrity and of a personal power that needs no force, for it simply is. Many will go through this energy feeling only the duality and restlessness of Gemini. But you, by practicing these rituals, have chosen union. You have chosen mastery over your own duality. If this journey of unification has resonated with you, honor the sacred marriage you have just officiated within yourself. By liking this video, and to seal this new inner peace treaty, go to the comments section and declare your new wholeness with the affirmation, I unify. Feel the power of becoming one. Read the declarations of others who are also on this journey and know that you are not alone. And share this transmission with anyone you know who lives in an internal war and needs this map to peace. Finally, subscribe, because union is just the beginning. Soon, a new energy will test the strength of this inner marriage of yours, and you will want to be prepared for the first challenge of your new unified life.